Alright, so what are some spiritual signs that your ex is coming back to you? That's what we're going to be talking about in this video. Hey there, it's Clay with modernlove.life. Going for another walk today in the neighborhood we're staying in Mexico. Today we're talking about some spiritual signs that your ex is coming back to you. You know, in the past couple videos we've been talking about some of the spiritual stuff, and we've been talking about some of this metaphysical stuff as well too. And so I wanted to talk to you about some ways that this will be reflected back to you in your experience if your ex is coming back. So the first way is obviously you'll start to get certain synchronicities that sort of line up in your life. You know, as you're bringing your energy into alignment with a certain potential, certain possibility, certain intention, you'll start to get certain things reflected back to you in your life. And these might show up in the form of synchronicities, you know, all sorts of just like crazy things. Things that could be small, things that could be big. They don't even necessarily have to make a lot of sense. Recently, Sailor Moon somehow has been showing up in my experience over and over and over again. You know, it's this Japanese cartoon that's, I don't know what, like 20, 30, 40 years old or something like that. For whatever reason, it just keeps showing up in my life, which is totally weird and strange, given that I'm like not even in Japan or anything like that. I'm in Mexico right now. You know, we were at some store and there was like this Sailor Moon line of eyelashes or something that we happened to walk by on some aisle. And then on the ride home, the guy in our Uber was listening to the radio, and the radio station was, you know, the woman on the radio was telling some sort of emotional story about something that happened to her, and then for whatever reason they just decided to play some like Sailor Moon music box melody music in the background. And then I was just reading something online, and one of the people happened to be wearing a Sailor Moon t-shirt, and it's just like, okay, that's really weird. I don't know why that's showing up, but it just shows that my energy is synchronizing to something specific. Obviously, I'm not going to meet Sailor Moon or become Sailor Moon or anything like that. That'd be really weird, wouldn't it? But something is lining up, and so something is going to show up in my experience. I don't know what it is. Another way you can tell is if your ex just seems to like keep popping up into your experience over and over and over again. Like maybe you just run into each other at the store synchronistically, or maybe they just reach out to you out of the blue or something like that. That just means that the two of you are somehow lining up on the same wavelength. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that the two of you are going to get back together. It could. If the two of you are on the same positive wavelength, if you're moving into a state of greater love and acceptance and wholeness, and maybe so are they, then yeah, that might make sense. But it could also be what's called, you know, like a purge, right? Like maybe you're moving into a new way of being, and your old way of being is sort of fighting to stay in control, and so it throws something at you that could potentially pull you into a familiar state of being, like anxiety or fear or lack or insecurity. And maybe it's just there as a test to see, hey, are you going to fall into it, or are you going to say, okay, thanks, but I'm just going to continue to choose love. I'm going to continue to choose peace, right? It just depends on sort of what energy you're stepping into, and also what energy your ex is embodying themselves. The big one is if you are moving into an energetic state that is aligned with who they are. Because, you know, your ex is going to have free will. I know this can be kind of a controversial subject in some of this more spiritual, metaphysical circles, but you know, your ex does have free will, and you might be able to pull them into your world, into your experience, but they still get to choose whether or not they want to be in a relationship with you. They still get to choose whether or not they are going to choose, you know, to get back together with you or not. And so what is going to make them do that or not is going to be whether or not the two of you are on the same energetic wavelength. Like if you are embodying love and wholeness and completeness, and so are they, then okay, you're on the same wavelength. But if you're embodying wholeness and love and completeness, and like, hey, there they are, you turn the corner at the store and there they are, but they are not embodying that. They're still lost in pettiness and smallness and whatever else it might be, then okay, they're making their choice with their way of being, that maybe the two of you aren't going to get back together, and that's okay, that's fine. It's just, again, that opportunity, that maybe you've drawn them into your experience through maybe the power of intention, but they get to choose, no, I see you at your best. I see you embodying love and wholeness and completeness and forgiveness and compassion and empathy and all these positive things. And I'm still going to choose not to allow myself to grow and embody that. I'm going to choose to stay small. And if that's the case, then they are making their conscious choice. And you just have to stay open, knowing that love will come to you in the most appropriate way for you, the shortest distance between point A and point B. If that happens to be through them, then so be it. But if they're closed off to that, then your job isn't to try and force it to happen one way or another. Your job is just to stay open and let it come to you in whatever amazing way is right for you, that could be beyond anything that you could ever predict or orchestrate or plan, even if you wanted to. And although it might not sound very exciting right now to say, yeah, you might not get back together with your ex, I promise you, when the right relationship comes, you're never going to want it to be anything else. You're not going to say, yeah, you're the perfect partner for me, who's willing to love me so perfectly and wholly and completely. But you know what? You're not so-and-so. So I'm disappointed about it. No, it's going to be just the right thing for you. I promise you that. And you're going to never wish it was anything else. Hope that's been helpful for you. If you did find that helpful, please go ahead and leave a comment down below letting me know what sort of spiritual signs you have been seeing that you think might be leading you to believe that your ex may be on their way back. Anyway, take care, and I'll talk to you next time.